So to start off, the rules for TV commercial competition. This competition is set up to resemble an actual audition situation. Contestants will be performing live in front of a panel of casting agents who will also be acting as CMTC judges. Okay, so these can be agents, managers, scouts, producers, things like that. Okay, there are judges as well. This is a closed competition. What that means is there's no audience. Okay, so it's just you going into the room in front of the judges, the agents, everything like that. The commercial can be published, or it can be an original. So if you want to make up your own and write your own commercial, you can. If you want to do one that's running on TV or has run on TV before, like you want to look one up on YouTube, you can do that as well, okay? When you'll start by, when you get into the room, you'll stand on the X and then you're going to slate. And a slate is your name, your contestant number, and your age. That's all they want you to say. So you would stand on the X and you would say like, hi, my name is Megan. I'm contestant number 427 and I'm 29 years old. Okay, that would be the slate. Then I would recommend you take a breath and then you would start into your commercial. Okay, it's a 30-second commercial. Can be less than 30 seconds, cannot be more than 30 seconds, okay? There will be a bell that goes off if you are over your 30 seconds. Your 30 seconds starts when you start your commercial, okay? It does not include your slate. So your slate is separate. You do your slate. Then when you start your commercial, that's when the 30 seconds will start, okay? Again, can be less than 30 seconds, cannot be more. No costumes are permitted, okay? Wardrobe suggestion is daytime casual outfit. No sitting down or laying down. Contestants must stand upright during the performance so they can be clearly seen by the judging panel. Only carry-on props that are quick and easy to maneuver will be allowed. No animals or extra participants will be permitted. You want to also keep it clean, no swearing or adult material that will result in a disqualification in that competition. And judging is based on projection, wit, intelligence, and overall believability. Okay? Perfect. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Ray, so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
So, well, do you want to introduce yourself? I think that would probably be the easiest thing to do, so you can kind of talk about yourself a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, my name's Ray Miller. I am a talent manager based in Los Angeles. I represent actors for film and television, one of them being Jessica Lord, who is currently the lead of Find Me in Paris, which is a Hulu original here in the States, and is a CMTC find, quite frankly.
Yeah, we love Jessica. Yeah.
Yeah, I love her too. So we have that in common.
Yeah. Awesome. And I think, is she coming back now? Like, she was in Paris all this while, right?
Actually, a bit of good news is that she flew back from Paris, literally landed for 3 days, booked 2 guest stars, so she flew to Montreal, and now she's on her way to, like, Bulgaria or Hungary.
Oh, my goodness. Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she's going to be on Party of 5 for Freeform, and she's going to be on Ransom for CBS.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Way to go. Awesome.
She's a very, very busy actress for us right now.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And we love the fact that you found her at CMTC. And I know our big story with Jessica is that she wasn't really even sure she was going to do the TV commercial competition, and she was really only going for dance, right? So it was kind of amazing that everything all happened for her. So I thought you would be the perfect one to kind of talk about the TV commercial competition. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So, as far as I think... Oh, go ahead. I know that you've...
No, you go ahead. You talk. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the question that I think you posed to me, because we're working on some bullet points here, is like, what makes a good commercial?
Yeah.
And, basically, one of the biggest parts of doing this well is picking the right commercial, to be honest with you. And so that's going to tick a few boxes. And one of them, the most important one, is that it's age appropriate. If you are, let's say, 11... and you're shilling retirement insurance, it's not a good commercial for you.
No.
So it needs to be something that's age appropriate for you. And once you pick something that is age appropriate, it needs to make sense to you. So if you're a teenager, find a commercial that has a product that you actually use and are familiar with, because that does make all the difference in the world. So, if it's food, make sure it's something that you actually eat. It does make a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
The other part of it, frankly, is that you don't trip over the copy. But when I say copy, I mean the words. So, in other words, whatever it is that you pick, it's got to roll off your tongue pretty easily. Don't pick a tongue twister. Those are really, really hard. Because the reality is you only have 30 seconds. And if for whatever reason you run into difficulty, your time will run out and you don't really get an opportunity to redo it. So, that is, that's a big part of it as well. So, technically, like, you're going to walk into a room, there's going to be probably like anywhere from 8 to 12 people seated at tables. And so the first thing you're probably going to wonder is, where do I look? And so pick an eye line. Generally, I find it a little uncomfortable when people look at me, but that's just me. Some people don't mind it so much. But I would pick a spot on the wall that kind of like, or maybe even
like right above your guys' heads is what I always suggest.
Above our heads, absolutely. But just pick a spot on the wall and just kind of focus on that.
Yeah.
And that would be where your eyes actually need to go. So you kind of need to engage us, but you don't want to like
stare at you.
Yeah, exactly, because that gets weird for everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Definitely age appropriate. For sure. I remember one time, one of our actors was going in and he was like a 16-year-old kid talking about children's Tylenol and about how he has to give his kid children's Tylenol. I was like, you're 16. Like, you don't have a kid. Like, this isn't relatable to you. So definitely finding one.
A bad commercial choice.
Yeah. I was like, find one that like makes sense. And also, again, with the copy, I agree. If you're picking a published commercial and there's a word that constantly trips you up, change the word. No one's going to judge you. It's not like you guys as judges have the commercial in front of you and you're watching word for word to see if they screw it up, right? So if you guys change the words in general before you get in there, what you guys are looking as agents is looking that you guys can deliver the lines well, right? You're not looking... Yeah.
We have no context as to what you're telling us. So whatever it is that you deliver, if you deliver it with confidence and fluidity, then you're going to be fine. So
Perfect.
So don't get too hung up that it has to be verbatim. And back to your point, it's like if you get stuck on a word, just change it or find new copy.
Exactly. Especially if you're trying as like for parents, I know this is always a hard one. For parents, when you're trying to find it for the younger kids, I always suggest making up your own commercial for them because then it's going to be words that they can actually use and understand and like say. And if it's a product that they know, if by chance they get in the room and they forget their commercial, the agents and judges, they will actually be like, what's your commercial about? And then once the kid's like, oh, it's about this toy, then they can pretty much talk about the toy themselves. And they normally do really well if they know the toy. If it's something if it's something they have no idea anything about, like, it's harder for them to talk about it just if they forget. So
yeah, and I mean, one of the biggest things about selling a product is you have to come off with some confidence. Mm-hmm. And so and by the way, that confidence is something that translates irrespective of whether it's a commercial or if it's, frankly, a scripted show. Yep. Like, that's the one thing that I can tell you as somebody who represents actors, that is consistent across performance. It's like if you're confident, if you're at ease in front of the judges, like that's something that we look for, and it's something that we notice. If you're timid and you're stumbling and you're a little nervous, then that's also something that will ding you, for lack of a better term.
For sure. Exactly. And I always say, like, your audition kind of, or your TV commercial competition starts like the moment you walk in the door almost. Like when you're walking into that room, like you got to walk in confidently, like don't walk with your head down, shoulders back, like looking good, have a smile on your face. You guys aren't scary in that room. I have to say, you guys are not scary people. So don't be scared, everyone, going into these rooms. They're actually like really nice people. As you can see here with Ray, he's very nice.
We are, and let me also add this too. We are looking for people. Like, here's the thing. It happens, right? Like Jessica's CMTC. She's the lead of a show. She's traveling the world and as an actor. And I know that you guys, and she's not the only one, by the way. It isn't like just one person. Like CMTC has produced a significant number of like models and actors who now have long-lasting, sustained careers. It's not it's not a fluke. But, back to your point specifically, you're right. The audition does start the minute you walk in the room. We see how you carry yourself. We see how comfortable you are with yourself. And just, own it. Be confident. Like, just walk in there like you belong and that you're not afraid.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it. And then I think my other question before we move on. Oh, no, it's in my sleep. section. So I guess it would be about the slate, as most people don't really know what a slate is. So I kind of did a really quick demo of like, hi, my name's Megan. I'm contestant number 435 or whatever, and then I'm 29 years old. That's what we're looking for in a slate. But do you have any other, I guess, advice for them in a slate? Should they do it in the same type of character?
No, the slate is really you. So in other words, like do it in your normal voice. I mean, it's doubtful that you'll affect a voice for a commercial, but let's say that you are going to.
Yeah.
By the way, bad choice.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. But if let's say that you've decided that that's the way you're going to go, then your slate needs to be in your normal voice. You need to tell us exactly how old you are. And then you also need to tell us your contestant number for CMTC, because sometimes, I mean, we should be able to see it, make sure that it's there and visible.
Up here.
But also repeat it. So your name, your contestant number, your age. And just, there's really not much to it. It's very straightforward. That's the easiest part of the commercial.
Perfect. And I always say you want to make sure your slate is just as confident as your commercial. So,
Absolutely.
Because again, your audition's kind of starting the moment you walk in. So you really want to make sure you're doing everything with confidence and just having fun. I always say too, it's a 30-second commercial. You gotta have fun.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we know that. We can tell if you're having fun or if you're miserable. And if you're not having fun, then what's the point? So, above everything, let me put it like this. CMTC should be about the experience, and the experience is to go and be with like-minded people who aspire to do the things that you do, but enjoy the process, have the fun of going to the classes, enjoy the competitions. Don't get hung up on the outcome, because that's not the way to do this. The way to do it is to go in and just have the experience. I mean, because how often are you going to be able to do this? It's not very often. It's unique. It's a unique, singular experience, and you should take advantage of it for that.
Oh, Ray, I love that you said that, because it's so true. I actually have a video from an alum coming out this week who pretty much talks about going to CMTC and was only in singing and dance and improv, I want to say. Sat in there and was like, I'm doing every competition. And then did them all and ended up winning Child Actor of the Year. It was crazy. She was just like, I'm joining and I'm doing every competition. I'm taking everything that I can get out of this convention. And she did, and she's done amazing things since then. So that's coming out this week for everyone that's tuning in. It's really exciting. But yeah, so slate. I always say to kind of take a breath in between your slate and commercial, because your 30 seconds doesn't start until you start your commercial. So don't think you have to rush through your slate. Don't be like, hi, my name is Megan, I'm contestant 432, and I'm 29 years old. Don't rush. Take a breath, do your slate. Also,
and center yourself before you actually start talking. That's the whole point, is get the information out, take a beat because you have it, because the clock doesn't start ticking until you start your commercial, right?
Yep.
If I remember.
Yep, correct. Yep.
So just center yourself and then go for it. But it's okay. Give yourself a moment, because this is your chance. So don't rush through it.
Exactly. And I always say too, wait until you're stopped. You wouldn't believe how many people are walking into the room doing their slate. So walk in the room, get onto the X, because there's a mark on the floor, and you'll get there and position yourself, find where you want to look on the wall, and then do your slate. Don't be walking in being hi, I'm Megan, blah 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 blah. Again, it doesn't really work well. So you really want to make sure you walk in, get to that spot on the floor, and find your spot on the wall, and then, start. Do your slate. Yeah. So I guess my other biggest question that I get a lot, Ray, is wardrobe. What do you wear, for a TV commercial?
Here's the thing. Don't costume yourself. So in other words, you want to go pretty much daytime casual, jeans or pants or whatever, t-shirt, button-up, something like that. What you don't want to wear, let's say that you're doing a commercial that requires you to be a cowboy. Don't walk in there wearing a cowboy hat and spurs. You do not need that. Just go with something that's fairly neutral, nothing that's too busy. Don't wear wild patterns or, something that's just inappropriate for your age as well. If you're a kid, dress like one. If you're a teenager, dress like one, if that makes sense.
Cool.
But other than that, if you're doing something that's a little bit sportier, if you're doing take those into consideration, but don't go overboard. So, keep it within
the commercial.
Within the parameters. Yeah, exactly, within the commercial, but nothing that feels like a costume.
Okay. So for your cowboy commercial example, would it be smart to wear a plaid shirt and jeans?
Yeah, something like that. They would suggest the idea, and by the way, this is true of any audition.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be super specific, but you need to suggest whatever it is that you are, right? So in the case of, like you said, if it's a cowboy, yeah, plaid with jeans, because it feels outdoorsy. It feels like you belong outside.
Right.
Right?
And athletic, if you were doing, for like a Lululemon example, would be if you were doing a Lululemon commercial, you wouldn't want to be walking in like heels, jeans, and like a blouse, right? Like that doesn't make sense. You'd never see that in Lulu.
With like runners and like, something a little bit more form-fitting as well because it's athletic. But once again, don't go overboard. You don't have to bring like athletic equipment with you. It's just whatever it suggests what you're trying to sell.
And then I didn't send this note to you, Ray, but I thought about it afterwards about props because I did get asked that question a lot. Yeah. And I spoke with someone on the phone about this today. I was like, it's not about the prop. Like, it really isn't. So do you have any suggestions? Like, just don't do props?
My personal preference is don't use them, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. There's more things that can go wrong with the prop than can go right.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's another thing to worry about, too. So you should be worried about your presentation, your lines, worried about, like, where you're going to put a bottle of shampoo or being worried about where you're going to put, like, whatever beverage you might bring with you. Don't do it. Just leave that. We know what you're selling. We can imagine it. Don't give yourself something. Don't put another element into your commercial that you can screw up, to be honest with you. Focus on presentation, focus on your presentation and the lines. Don't worry about any of the other stuff.
Awesome. And then, perfect. So what do you look for? Oh, sorry. I saw a question come up earlier. I'm just going to answer it.
Yeah.
We don't provide any scripts for TV commercial, and you don't need to submit anything to us ahead of time. So it's up to you. You have from now until the TV commercial competition at convention to work on your TV commercials. So you, again, can make up your own, or you can find one that's published and then practice it, 30 seconds or less. You can do your one that's already been out there, or you can make up your own. Okay, so Ray, what do you look for? Well, actually, if we can go on this for a bit, do you recommend people do more of their own or one that's already published? Like, do you look at things differently?
It's an issue of the people who write the copy for those commercials are professionals, and I would actually lean towards finding something something that's already been done or something that feels more professional. Because if you go to write it yourself, it's likely not going to sound like a commercial. To be honest with you, Like you think, we don't pay attention to this because it's so ubiquitous, because we see so many of these ads day to day, but they have a cadence, they have a rhythm to them. And if you try to write it yourself, chances are you're not really going to get it right. Now, look, some people are naturally adept at it and they'll do it, but I just think, once again,
there's so many out there.
There are, and it's also your material selection that's going to be a big indicator of whether you're going to be successful at this or not. So do not introduce another thing that could potentially go wrong. And the thing that could go wrong is you write a commercial that doesn't sound like one, or it's too short, or it's too long. The commercials that exist already are within certain parameters. They're 30 seconds long, which is exactly the amount of time that you have. They are specifically written by people who professionally write copy for commercials. So I would urge you to find something that already exists. Now, the point, and I think somebody might have asked this question because I saw it scroll up. But at the same time, don't reenact the commercial. We're not looking for somebody to basically be a mimic. We're looking for your take on the material.
Okay. Yeah, that's an important fact for sure. Yeah, definitely your side, your take of it.
Exactly.
Dissecting the commercial beforehand, putting your spin on it, and getting in there.
Yeah, coming up with your own delivery, coming up with that. But don't just I guess verbatim's not the right word, but let's use verbatim.
Yeah.
Don't verbatim
the whole movements and everything. Yeah,
exactly. Don't copy it. Just do your own thing. Maybe use the original commercial as a guide, but don't copy it, word for word, basically. Well, you will
word for word, but if you mess up on a word, change that word.
Exactly.
Awesome. And then, what do you look for in this competition? Like when you're judging it, what are you really looking for?
Well, look, when I am at San audience, you see I'm basically in two sets of like competitions. There's the monologues, and then there's the scene. There's three, I guess, like monologues, scenes, and commercials, right? And I can tell you that the people that I've called back off, you'd be surprised at the number of people that I called back just simply off the commercial audition, even though I'm looking at them for theatrical, you know?
Yep.
So the question, like, to answer your question, like, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a lot of things. I'm looking for confidence. Like, I can't stress that enough. It's like, because ultimately this is something, no worries. I am looking for confidence, because the reality is that when you walk into an audition, that's the first thing that they're going to gauge, is whether you feel comfortable or not. Frankly, engaging the room. That's a big part of acting, is to not be afraid. So that's one thing I'm looking for. The other thing I'm looking for how you're standing. It's all the kind of technical stuff. I want to make sure that, you know how to kind of do it. And let me say this, I'm not looking for a professional level performance. I'm looking for the basic skill sets, or the foundational tools. I'm looking for the foundational tools that I can project into going on and doing other things. But like confidence, the clarity, be able to pronounce these things. I need to hear you actually enunciate. I need to hear the words, I need to make sure that you are, presenting the commercial with a good pace. It's all those things. And frankly, what do you look like? Did you present yourself well physically? Because the reality is that, like, are you put together? Are you dressed properly? That kind of thing. So I would say confidence, look, delivery. Those are kind of the three things that I'm looking for.
Awesome. And I see someone answered the question for this person, but the age group, so you're not competing all against everyone. You are in your own age group. So there's the 4 to 7 age category, the 8 to 11, the female 12 to 15, female 16 to 19, female 20 plus. Then there's male 12 plus, and then there's the talent and acting division. So there's 7 divisions, and you go in one at a time, and you're only being judged based on kind of everyone else. Actually, you're individually judged. So you're not really being judged based off anyone else. You're individually judged and given a score based on your performance. So, yeah. Awesome. And then overall advice for this competition, Ray?
Have fun with it. I know that sounds so basic, but have fun with it. I would say, kind of what I referenced a little bit earlier is the idea of divorcing yourself from the outcome. If you don't enjoy it, if you aren't going in loose, if you aren't going in with, kind of a devil-may-care attitude. By the way, what I mean by that is I don't mean not care, not prepare. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is just don't put pressure on yourself. Be loose and have fun. I tell this to all my clients when they go in to audition for something big, particularly for big things, which is when you walk into the room, you don't have the part. So if you walk out without the part, you lost absolutely nothing.
That's amazing,
In other words, just go do it. Just go have fun, Don't put pressure on yourself that isn't necessary. The whole point of this is to enjoy it, to explore something that you think you want to do, that you want to explore a little bit further, and just enjoy it. I can't say that enough times,
Yeah. And for our parents that are watching for our younger ages, like 4 to 7 and 8 to 11, you really want them to have fun with this. And so it should be a no pressure situation coming from you as a parent. That's one of my biggest pieces of advice I can give to parents of the younger kids, especially when they come out of the competition. Don't start dissecting. Don't be like, well, how many people were in there? And then what did you say? And did they laugh? And did they do this? Like, because then all of a sudden now the kid's like, wait a second. Like, I just went in there and had fun. And now you're adding this like extra level of stress to them that they don't need. So keeping it and just being like, when they come out, be like, did you have fun? And if they're like, yeah, and then that's it. Like, you don't need to ask any more questions. Doesn't matter if they didn't complete it or anything. Yeah, sorry.
I agree with that. The way that somebody once phrased it to me, and I kind of remembered this, is that when your kid walks out of the competition, engage them as their grandparents would engage them. So in other words, don't engage them like a parent who's trying to dissect what they're doing. Engage them as a grandparent who thinks everything they do is awesome, because it's a nerve-wracking experience. Yep. Let them come out, decompress, and have fun. They don't need they don't need critique. They just need somebody to say, hey, that was awesome.
Exactly. And that's even leading them up into that room, because it's kind of like they're standing in line, waiting. They're watching everyone else go in before them. their nerves are going to get to them. It's just what it is. And even for our older ones, that's exactly what's going to happen. And you need to just focus. You know it. You've been practicing it for months. You just go in, have a good time. They're not scary. These judges and agents, I'm telling you, they're not scary people. They want you to succeed. They want you to do well. So just remember that. Like, they're not in there being like, ha, ha, ha. Like, I hope they don't do well. Like, that's not it at all.
Absolutely.
You're like,
absolutely. We don't want to see anybody fail. We want everybody to do well.
Exactly. Awesome. And then, is there anything else, Ray, that I missed or we didn't talk about?
I would say this, like, getting back to the whole thing that I had mentioned earlier is that, like, CMTC is a really unique experience, and I can tell you for somebody who has discovered one person so far, but definitely am working with a few people that I've met at CMTC. You know, just like enjoy the whole thing. I mean, I can't, going there for 4 days with like-minded people is something that's definitely worthwhile. Take away the expectation of, like, who's going to call me back, who's going to want to see me, that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter. It only takes one person. Let me just say that. And so take that pressure off of you. Just enjoy it for what it is.
Amazing. Awesome. All right, Ray, I'm good. If does anyone have any quick questions for Ray to ask? I still have a little bit, just a recap and some other things that are going on that I want to talk about. But if anyone has a question directly for Ray, good advice. Thank you. Who's all Ray? Awesome. No, everyone feels good? Oh.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Ray. I'll be in touch with you.
All right.
Awesome.
Later,
thanks.
guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. So just a few more things before we finish up. So just quickly recapping for the TV commercial. CMTC does not provide scripts for TV commercial, okay? You are in charge of finding your own script. As Ray mentioned, he recommends finding one that is published. However, if you can't find one, you can make up one on your own. But again, Ray's advice, definitely find a published one. I liked what he said about that, so go for that. It's really easy to find them. You can actually Google like 30-second TV commercials and lots will come up. You can go on YouTube and like search up like common TV commercials and like just scroll through watching them. And then once you find one that you're like, oh yeah, that relates to me, then write it down and keep practicing it. Start practicing now or start finding your commercial now. You have now until CMTC, which is in May of 2019. So you have lots of time to practice it, but you also don't want to be over rehearsed. Like you don't want to sound like robotic. So you still want to have that natural like flow to your commercial. But keep practicing it. Again, they don't have the scripts in front of them, so they're not looking at your thing word for word for word. So if you miss a word or you need to change a word, that's totally fine. Put your own spin on it. Have fun with it. Things like that. How you only present one commercial. So you're going to walk into the room. Again, as Ray mentioned, your audition pretty much, or your competition starts the moment you walk in the room. That's what the judges are watching. So you want to walk into that room confidently, okay? Smiling. You don't want to be like head down, looking around. You don't want that. You want to be walking in smiling. Find the X on the floor, okay? And you'll stand there looking at the judges. Sometimes our littler ones, they don't really know where to look, and they kind of look back at the door where they came in. So just kind of make sure you direct your child to like look at the judges, okay, that are sitting there. And again, like Ray said, you can pick kind of a spot right above their heads, and that's where you can kind of look. So you're not staring at them in the eye, because it kind of gets a little creepy if you're like delivering all your lines like this into somebody. And then you'll start your slate, okay? So you'll say like, hi, my name is your name. Then you do your contestant number. However, you will be wearing your contestant number as well, okay? And then you are also going to say your age, okay? So you'd walk in, you'd stop on your X, you'd smile, and you'd be like, hi, my name is Megan. I'm contestant number 427, and I'm 29 years old, okay? So you do that. Then again, like Ray said, you'd want to center yourself, make sure you're back to that point of like, okay, you're ready, and then begin your commercial. Your time, your 30 seconds starts when you start your commercial, not your slate, your commercial, okay? And the slate is the name, your name stuff, okay? Does that make sense, everybody? 30 seconds. Can't be over 30 seconds. Can be under, okay? You're not dinged anything if you're under 30 seconds, okay? Awesome. What else? You want to make sure your script is memorized. That's why we suggest starting now. You don't want to walk in with a piece of paper, okay? And as Ray mentioned, you can bring a prop as long as it's easy to maneuver, but as Ray mentioned, it's not about the prop. It really is about how you're delivering your commercial, and the prop is just another thing that could go wrong, and things like that, okay? And pick a commercial that is age appropriate and makes sense to you, okay? That's very important, I always say, for the little ones. Don't overcomplicate them with weird, crazy words, because most of the time they tongue twister it in the room, okay? So really make sure that it's something that you yourself makes sense to you and makes sense to, if you're picking it for your child, makes sense for your child as well, okay? There's any more things, some questions that were asked on Instagram. Do you wear makeup? I would suggest wearing natural makeup if you are at that age where you normally wear makeup, then yes, but it's not required. How can you prepare for this competition? Again, start finding your 30-second commercial, practicing it at home. When will you find out what time TV commercial is? You will find that out when you go to event check-in. I'm not talking about sponsors tonight, so I won't be answering that question. I am only talking about TV commercial. Max length, it can be as 30 seconds, okay? You do not have to submit any videos for TV commercial, okay? TV commercial is done live at CMTC in your closed room with the judges, okay? And the judges are the agents, scouts, managers, producers, things like that, casting directors, okay? So you don't submit it ahead of time. This is not that one, okay? TV commercial is done live, so start practicing your commercial now, okay? And you are do your lineups within your age divisions. Great. Awesome. So one more fun thing.